The House of Pain. Has no relation, of course, to The House of Pain, the late 90s music group, or early 90s rap group. It's funny, too. I actually like his rock stuff, or blues stuff, whatever it is, a lot more. Everlast, I'd be speaking of there. I think that's the same guy. And if it's not, then whatever. There's actually a House of Pain song in one of the Tony Hawk games that I really enjoy. But on the whole, I like his other stuff better. I actually considered for this Doom LP loading up some MP3s of some awesome music to play behind, like some Bullet for My Valentine, or just metal stuff. And I realized that A, you can't really hear it behind me anyway, and B, that would just open a whole new copyright can of worms that I don't feel like dealing with. Got stuck on the wall. But, you know, who cares, right? I may end up, I had talked before about LPing a couple of newer Doom levels, and I may do that, and if I do that, I may use some newer music, or I may even just use, remixes of the Doom music, or a lot of those levels actually have their own music anyway. One of my good internet friends, who goes by the name of Ralphus, actually has done a lot of music for Doom maps. Good musician too. There's a sequence to this, and I never remember what it is. So we're just gonna hit all the switches and there you go. I think I'm supposed to wait. Oh well. I might be able to get that. I don't want it that bad. So that's an invincibility sphere, by the way. I just don't need it. I mean, I almost died a couple levels ago, but really, it's just because I'm not trying hard enough. You're probably wondering, if you're not familiar with the Doom, how these demons can bite at me and not damage me, and that's because they don't actually inflict damage until pretty late in their attack animation, which makes sense, because they're biting at you, and if they can't actually bite down on you, then they can't really damage you. It's always nice, huh? You can't actually get out there as far as I know. There's no reason to anyway. There's nothing out there. But anyway, they don't actually inflict damage pretty late into their attack animation, so you can, as long as you're not up against them whenever they're finishing their attack animation, or as long as you don't let them finish their attack animation, you don't take damage from their attacks. Most of Doom is that way. In fact, a lot of your tactics for your more skillful modes of play, like your Tyson runs and stuff, tend to exploit that quite a lot. A lot of my friends are into speedrunning, and not my real life friends, but my internet friends, and it's just not something that's ever interested me too much. I definitely respect the skill of those guys, but it's something I never want to do myself, or even really watch, unless they're really impressive. One of the most amazing speedruns I've ever seen, the Elder Scrolls Part 3 Morrowind, a guy actually beats the main quest of the game in literally, it's like 7 minutes. I know you're thinking, what? But no, I'm serious. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. There's a video for it, and it's just the most exploity, ridiculous, sequence-breaking thing. And it really highlights how broken, just utterly broken, alchemy is in Elder Scrolls. At least in Morrowind. I don't know if it's as bad in Oblivion. I've never been one much for alchemy. It just isn't a theme that interests me that much. At least not as it's presented in Elder Scrolls. I really like it in a more steampunk type setting. I think it's cool. I actually enjoyed the alchemy as it was presented in Full Metal Alchemist, which is funny because I didn't actually even like that show that much, or I never read the manga, but The anime I didn't even enjoy that much, but I did like the way they presented alchemy. And my favorite webcomic of all time, Gunnar Quote, has a lot to do with alchemy, and I enjoyed that too, of course. I actually used alchemy quite a lot on my, hey now, it's not very nice. I actually used alchemy quite a lot on one of my most recent Elder Scrolls characters, but that was because I was playing a race that couldn't use magic. I was permanently silenced. Really? Am I gonna die here because of this? But that was an interesting experience too, playing Oblivion with a character that can't use magic. Because magic is, I mean, there's just so much in the game that magic is central for. I mean, healing, you know, you don't really heal without magic. Every character starts with a very basic healing spell that doesn't work great, but, you know, it's a healing spell. And if you can't use that, you really can't heal. Am I doing this wrong? Anyway, I'm leaving. I'm coming back. Gotta find some health. Anyway, but like I was saying, in Elder Scrolls and Oblivion, without that spell, you really can't heal without potions. You know, you don't have like Halo health. You know, your health doesn't just regenerate, which is actually a pet peeve of mine with most newer games. Certainly, it's very convenient and it moves the game along nicely, but it's kind of irritating. Challenge versus convenience is something I talk about a lot in game theory, game design theory, because convenience is all well and good, but if your game is too convenient, oh, there we go, that was weird. Anyway, if your game is too convenient, then it's at a certain point it ceases to become challenging, and without challenge, there's really no fun. If your game is just too easy, then why even play it? You know? That was really a complete guess. And I cannot believe that worked. I cannot believe any of this has worked. There's actually a bunch of stuff here. I don't remember. Some of these switches close doors, some of these switches open them. But anyway. Pretty much, there's actually a formula. And I'm going to quote it wrong, I'm sure, so forgive me if I do. If there's any game theorists in my audience, which I highly doubt. But, let's see, how does it go? As, skill and challenge, when skill and challenge intersect, that's whenever the fun is greatest. But the lower the challenge versus the skill, the less fun it is normally, and vice versa. The higher, if it's too hard, also not much fun. Which you might, you know, and that isn't necessarily true for everyone, and it isn't even necessarily true, you know, that's not a general truism, I don't think, but it works as a good, abstract, no, what's the term, approximation, there we go, it's a good approximation, and for me it more or less is true. There we go, House of Pain. I actually missed a bunch in that level, but I don't even care. I hate that level. It's got terrible music, and it's just not very fun. But anyway, I'm gonna cut this here, and I'll see you at the next level. At the Unholy Cathedral.